Instagram is honestly so shady for a number of reasons. Partly the algorithm, the use of reels, and so on. But for me, the biggest thing is the way in which you need to delete your account. Now, if you've seen with Threads, the little fine print writing, um, essentially every time you try and remove a an account, you can only remove your Threads account if you've deleted your Instagram account. Now, I understand that that may be linked to your account. Maybe it works from a software point of view, but there's this concept called golden handcuffs, in which and they being any type of business, any type of employee, any type of person trying to give value or trying to stack a negotiation in any kind of way, where they try and make the deal so good and so good in such a way that you can't leave the deal itself. So that's the concept, golden handcuffs. Essentially, you're stuck with the deal because you're so bought in. And a lot of these things is like to do with Apple, like how fans of Apple won't change to say like a Samsung phone or whatever because they're so bought in. And then they introduce things like Apple Banking, Apple Pay, and so on and so forth that get you so used to it that you go from, oh, I would never change my phone. Now your banking is tied into it. Now everything is tied into it. And soon they will give you so much value and so many different things in which you're tied to them that you actually cannot leave. So essentially, that's the idea with Threads as well. You can't delete your account unless you delete Instagram, and it's gonna pull up like a sunk cost fallacy. You're gonna believe that, I've spent so much time into creating this Instagram account. I've had it for years. My stories, my posts, etc., all my connections, everything is built up in your mind, and you can't even try out Threads without it actually requiring your Instagram to be deleted if you needed to get rid of it after. And that's shady point number one. Shady point number two is actually deleting Instagram itself, because on the app, you cannot delete your account. You can put it into like a private view. You can go on hold. You can like technically take like a break from it. But even then, I'm pretty sure you have to go online to do that. But you have to go online on Instagram to find the delete page. And not only do you have to do it there, you cannot do it through the regular sign in. You literally have to type in delete Instagram in your Google search or whatever search. And there's an old school page which has not been updated at all for obvious reasons. And eventually, once you go through all of that effort where they're doing this purposefully so you don't delete your stuff and that they hold your data forever, but essentially once you delete it, once you get rid of that account, it doesn't actually delete. It puts it on a temporary hold, and they essentially hold all your data for 30 more days before you get rid of it. So if you're a person who feels like maybe they've built a bit of an addiction to their phone, and on top of that addiction to say Instagram and checking the posts, checking the feed, and so on, and reels, and etc., and they're trying to make a change for themselves, it's impossible now, because now, okay, well, it's not completely impossible, but you have 30 days in which you have to completely be off it. If you wanted to delete this thing from the face of the earth and just be free of it, you have to almost prove to yourself for 30 days that you can last without it. Now, for some people, willpower, they delete it out of sight, out of mind, and they'll forget about it. But that little bit of room allows someone to come back and just slide back into old ways. This is exactly what I saw back in my day. When I had to delete it, I deleted my account with a friend of mine, and well, not a friend of mine, it was a lady friend, but we did it together, and yeah, I made the 30 days. My account was gone. A few months later, she was back on her phone. And yeah, I mean, I didn't force it or anything. This is what they wanted to do, but it's funny how things play out because that person is clearly holding the value of like Instagram and the likes and all of that very highly in their mind. Or at least they were at the time. I mean, I don't know now. They've probably grown past that. I hope they've grown past that. But yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder like why set it up in such a way, like all of these things. There's no way that like I can understand maybe if this is a page that like you don't want to spend too much time on because effectively it brings no money into the system, but it's like it doesn't even have like the newer logo. It doesn't even have any of the updates that are going through. Like you, when you make a change, you like, especially like a templated change across all of Instagram, and the way it's run, you change the logo and everything, but then your delete page is still living in the past. So very, very interesting way in which they're working, obviously using some of these tactics to give you more value and to keep you hooked and to keep you enjoying the loop, enjoying the infinite cycles of reels and so on. And it's okay, like media and sharing it is a very beautiful experience. What we have is something that people like our ancestors like wouldn't be able to dream of, and it's like a insane way in which we can remain connected, but it does have an intense negative effect on us if we don't use it properly. I left Instagram and most of my social medias and still ended up coming back, and it's only now that I'm at a stage where I will probably just never look at it again unless it's for some kind of business purpose. But even then, I would have to exist on someone else's phone, and someone else would have to be doing it for me, or I would have to be doing it through their phone, or maybe it exists on a laptop. I can't, for the type of personality I have, I just can't keep it onto my immediate like phone because it's too close. It's too much access to myself, and that's something that I keep with me every day. So I can't just allow that same kind of access into into my phone. It's too precious. But yeah, I mean, these are important concepts to consider for yourself, especially with how they deal with your data privacy issues, so on and so forth. And if they're going to stack these future sells to you in such a way that it keeps you bought into their service, you're gonna you're gonna pay in other ways, and it's going to be very difficult. It's also going to be exciting. There's a lot of things coming up, especially like metaverse and everything, which is exciting, and all of these things will eventually have some kind of role in interconnectedness. But on the grand scheme of things, it's just entertainment. There is media, there is big systems of information in which we sort of can research and learn a lot from. But yeah, I mean, unless you're so intentional and so set up for it, the algorithm doesn't reward the correct content in the correct ways. There's a mass reward for polarizing content, things that create huge emotional spikes in people. I mean, obviously, if something is insane or too good to be true, it's going to catch your eye. Whether you read it or not, I mean, it's up to you, but just its ability to catch your eye gives a higher chance that someone is going to read it. And if that's the format that's being rewarded, it's going to continue like that forever. So I mean, long story short, you it's up to you if you want to delete it, if you want to play in that game of social media and so on. But I think it's worth noting all of the ins and outs, how tough it can be to leave that system, that game of Instagram, Threads, all social media, Twitter, etc. Like, obviously, they're slowly coming out where you're able to monetize these things. WhatsApp as well, like, you can run businesses through these things, and that's obviously a great way in which you can live. You can service people, you can provide value, you can earn money. It's a wonderful way in which it makes a lot of things very simple, things that we would not have had the opportunity in the past. But yeah, all in all, my view is still, I think we have a lot from previous generations that we've not adapted enough quickly to it. And even if we have, like, you know what, like, it obviously has a role. We're seeing how, like, the game is changing society and the way we value certain things. Like, this is like the social, like, be all and end all, you know. Even though it's digital, you know, it's really, it holds a high value up there, but it's driving several things, which is either super positive or super negative. It's very, very polarizing, and it comes down to the type of person you are and the type of things that you allow within your range. And I just think it's very dangerous if you're not so specific about what you want to pull out of this essentially this ether, or this algorithm that's going to put up some kind of video that it's going to recommend for you because it believes that you're going to have this sort of reaction to it. I mean, there are other deeper factors within this where they skew the reward system, so it's not necessarily that you're getting 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 based on your algorithm. There's like near miss adaptations to the algorithms where this is like good but not really, so they'll mix in like 3 like meh videos, and then they'll throw in a banger. And once you hit that, that's a big spike in your head, and that's going to keep you there for a little bit longer. And then it'll be maybe 4 videos of average content and then a banger, and so on and so forth. They use this system so that you're expecting something, and then it's a near miss, which is one of the bigger triggers of dopamine. So you get this near miss where you're expecting to get it, it's not what you expected, and then the next one is brilliant. So it still gives you the surprise, it's still got that novelty factor, but it's also giving you that near miss, which just spikes it even higher. So all in all, there's too many of these little issues that I have with it. And I don't want to preach and say like you shouldn't do this, but I think it's worth considering. At the worst stage, I think everyone should consider what they're consuming, what all of these things are. And if you look at Reels, you essentially are fed an item without consent. You can stop at any point, but within the first 10 seconds, obviously it shapes based on your algorithm, but it keeps going. On the consent thing, you have signed away your consent from the get-go. So at least for me, I've chosen not to play that game. But if you're trying to leave, if you're trying to find a way out of this, if you feel like there's a bit of an addiction, let me know. You can just pop a comment or you can reach out. I can assist. No money involved. It's just, yeah, I mean, if there's anything I can assist with that may help you find some peace, I think this is definitely one of the ways in which you can do that. So yeah, and also, yeah, I mean, if you feel like this is a change you want to implement, don't underestimate the influence you'll have on others just by implementing it. I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, have a good one.